request Samir Unhale Saab, Joint Municipal Commissioner, Municipal Administration, Government of Maharashtra, to address this forum.
Respected Jiraj Phatak sir, all the officials of the REPA Foundation, Marconomy Foundation, and all the distinguished guests who have gathered here. First of all, I need to thank Marconomy Foundation for choosing a subject like cities and SDGs, because it's easy to find limitations in any agency, especially the municipal functioning. Yet to bring people together in a forum to deliberate, and although we are limited people here, the social media ensures that the message that we are discussing reaches to many people also asynchronously, meaning that this will remain in social media for sufficiently long period, and therefore many people who are interested in cities and SDGs would able to learn something from what we are discussing now. So as Jiraj Phatak sir said, he has always been a very erudite scholar, and it was always been a very grandfatherly figure for us when we are always, and even still now. So one need to understand that why cities will be important for any activities to be done that relates with sustainability, that relates with circularity, that relates with resilience, that relates with carbon neutral. So we are seeing many new ideas which are coming up from various academic institutions for various multilaterals. And as Vipinji said, that translating those ideas into actions in a municipal setup, I think is one of the biggest challenges that we'll have to face. When we interact with a municipal, in Maharashtra's urban system, if I may use this opportunity to share, comprises of around 416 municipalities as of now. 30 of them are municipal corporations, which are the larger urban areas, and almost 385 to 386 smaller municipalities. And the population within the urban population of Maharashtra is estimated to be beyond 6 to 6.5 crores. And satellite imagery which was done by the Symbiosis Institute, sir, the research suggests that the urban characteristics of habitats in Maharashtra translates to around above 60% population staying in urban characteristic of habitats. So I think that's a substantially huge number. At national level, we have around 5,500 municipalities, or the statutory urban area as we call them, and the population in last census was around, budgetary speech which the Honorable FM made was around 36%, and if you take it in absolute numbers, it's beyond 45 crores. So when you talk of India, we will have to consider the relevance and significance of cities as a major urban form of organizing population, of organizing capital, and the ability of this system to translate all the goals which have been mentioned is going to be, in my opinion, one of the major challenges that this generation, that the generation of Vipin and other officers will be facing will be there. For the way administration functions is now changing a lot of speed is required, a lot of digital transformation is being sought in various forms of municipal administration. And therefore, this forum that we are discussing, I think has very significant value to help the people who are working in municipal and or urban sector to have a greater idea and comprehension, especially with newer terms which are coming up here. Little bit of cities and SDGs. As we know, the Sustainable Development Goals, which came up after the Paris meet, talks of around 17 goals. These 17 goals are further divided into 169 targets, and these 169 targets are further led to around 325 or 28 indicators. So what actually is required is now that in fact, sir, with help of some students from the IIT, when we were working in Thane, sir, we had done an experiment, a small project of preparing a SDG budget for a city. So like the municipal budget, we have got multiple major heads, minor heads, sub-heads, and we tried to use, with help of the students there, achieve match the following of the various budget heads we had with the SDG indicators and goals. So it was a very interesting exercise. In fact, sir, we could translate that almost 90% of the municipal budget was related with the SDGs. That exercise which was done, if you look at it, it's of health, it's of education, it's of water, sanitation, energy, gender equity, Then we have cities, climate actions, and all the 15 goals, life on land, life on the water, institutional governance, and of course collaborations and cooperation. So these SDG goals, in fact, we also tried to compare that with the discretionary and compulsory functions of municipality. Like under the Municipal Act, we have got around 60 to 70 duties which the municipality is supposed to do in both in the smaller urban area as well as the larger urban area. So it feels that the welfare model of administration and governance which India brought after the new constitution, the constitution which we had after 1950, the post-liberal, the post-colonial era, so to say. I feel so it is a international endorsement of the welfare and development model and basic philosophy of governance which India created, and which finally also got this international recognition by way of this SDGs. So I felt that the functioning of Indian institutions and various government institutions is in itself aligned to the SDGs, and that therefore we need not have to do something very new. Only the issue of priorities and more importantly the way we understand an idea and especially correlate our efforts with our goals becomes easier with this framework of SDGs, 17 goals, 169 targets and around 330 indicators. Now what would be city doing for this SDG? Obviously, sir, when we went into the micro detailing of these targets and indicators, we realized that the relevance of cities to these indicators or the indicators leads to around 160 to 170. Of course, that is more of a subjective analysis. It's not a very, some element of subjectivity is bound to happen. But this subjective correlation of this over 160 to 170 indicators to the municipal budget and the efforts that we are doing, I think was we felt it's a way ahead for to help the municipalities to and the cities to focus their efforts toward these indicators, because as we know, if we don't manage, if we don't quantify, it's very difficult to achieve that transformation we are looking at. The journey from level A to level B to level C becomes easier when we have these indicators and quantifiable and verifiable data available in open domain. It can't be, you don't have to make an RTA application for that to know whether you are performing in SDG indicators or not. So this correlation of SDG indicators to the discretionary and compulsory duties of municipality, and then further correlating it to the municipal budget, including the double entry accounting budget that we have introduced. So this correlation we felt created a journey which could be available, a matrix. Those who have studied management, we all know there's always M1, M2 models or the transformation of one style of functioning to the further style, which is in relevance, in significance, in continuation, cooperation of the activities we are looking at. So this clarity we felt is very necessary to be given to the municipality. So when Pathak sir is here, sir, in fact I have butterflies in my stomach because it's my honor to sit besides even him, because it's always been a legend for us. So the municipality is run by municipal engineers and municipal clerks and municipal accountants. In fact, so we used to say that the Honorable Commissioner, of course, has certain, sometimes a figurehead presence there. But the municipality, all said and done, is run by municipal engineers and municipal accountants and municipal clerks. Now, if we want to make anything happen in cities, municipality remains the most dominant institution in any city. Like we have the smart city, which is a new SP, which is yet to probably mature entirely. We have the development authorities like MMRDA, we have the other new township developments like authorities like CIDCO, we may have metros which are coming up. So we have around 7 to 8 types of organizations which function in city domain, which some of them could be government, some of them could be semi-government, some of them could be private sector. If you look at the digital framework, it is entirely with the private sector now. Like Agarwal ji is here, so we'll be learning from me as how the entire data economy of a city and the data infrastructure of a city really evolves and how it has interconnections with the SDGs that we are looking at. So we are at a very exciting phase, I believe. 2010, yesterday we had India making a soft landing at moon. It's a tremendously huge, I believe it's in tremendously huge achievement by any standard, the amount of, and most importantly, sir, there are 400 independent private vendors who have contributed to the Chandrayaan mission. So we talks of, the private sector, the private enterprise. It's not a public versus private dichotomy that we are talking of now, but we are talking of, the entirety of the society of the nation is now coming up, and now we are taking up advanced challenges, and we are demonstrating, most important to ourselves, that we are capable of achieving any goals that we are looking at, including putting a rover on the moon. So I believe the mood of the nation, it is very dynamic now, it's very vibrant, very positive, and whichever goals that we will take on to ourselves, challenges that we take on to ourselves, we are sure to achieve them. And in this context, we felt this, the detailing of the SDGs, breaking up into various indicators, then associating that with the financial resources we are giving, most importantly the skilling of the staff, that will have to be required. Now, of course, with sir here, it has been, the institute has put in lots of, efforts into training the manpower, the political leadership, the executive officers, the HODs, and of course the working staff. Although this system will also, we could probably have to think of, certain ensuring that the goals are achieved by way of skilling of the manpower and by providing adequate resources. Most importantly, the municipal staff will have to be trained and provided and supported with SOPs and best practices, including digital means of learning. Now we have apps, we could have a SDG app for municipal engineer who could focus upon what is to be done in his city and how are his actions relevant to the cities. Now, sir now feels something like the concept of intelligence have changed now. Earlier we had to read a lot of books and we had to extraordinary good memory to really write good answers. But now with smartphone available, the mental faculty of memory and probably the need of putting hours on reading has now become irrelevant, sir. That is no longer a form of intelligence now which could directly contribute to the goals that we are looking at. So this, we are in a phase of tremendous transition. What we did probably, sir, 10 years back, we are finding ourselves irrelevant to the system to really show that we are of any value or use to it. That's the way the things are changing so fastly. And therefore, this speed, I believe, is a good thing. It's not something to lament about. This speed is what we are going to use, to make it happen. And now, as far as the limited focus of citizen SDGs is concerned, the way forward, I feel, maybe also putting it in front of you in which you could, share your thoughts, ideas, help us, could be one financing, maybe the budget will have to be tailored also to, indicate the SDG budget, which a small extent we had tried earlier. Second, the skilling of the manpower, of the political leadership as well as the municipal engineers and accountants and clerks also, and the people, sanitary inspectors, the people who are on the ground, the water supply engineers will also have to be introduced to these newer ideas of environmentally efficient delivery of civic services. The city has to be efficient not only financially but also energy-wise, and also the pollution or the environmental load or the biodiversity destruction that a city processes create. Very often it's easy to find, find mistakes. It's always easy, but that doesn't solve any problem. We now need to, prepare a platform, maybe a digital platform in which we could have mining of ideas. I am sure that for 50 of us here, each and every one of person must be having at least 5 to 10 good ideas with each of us. But maybe I have a mic in front of me, that's why I am speaking. Mic is not available with you, you are unable to, contribute to it. So maybe we could have, various digital frameworks, formats, maybe Reliance we would request to, have a SDG platform for the cities, So what does it require really? What is the investment that requires? Couple of servers in cloud and RAM and maybe a basic platform. So now the challenge in 2023, we always say this is the third decade of the third millennia. The second millennia got over, but probably it lingered on for 20 years. Maybe the COVID kickstart us into the third millennia. Speed is very fast, technology is huge, improving, and the complexity of interconnections is beyond comprehension of one-to-one correspondence of cause and effect. I don't know what I have said, but maybe I will rehear where I said it. But the things are getting very complex. There is no one-to-one correspondence of cause and effect now. So therefore, there is a multivariate analysis of the way we calculate the index of poverty. There are maybe 10 indicators for anything. Consequently, interacting with impacting 10 consequences, and the effect is probably unpredictable, it is relative, it can't be, it is uncertain, it's undeterminable also to some extent. And the challenge lies in navigating in this uncertainty. The challenge lies in, thinking and focusing on the positivity instead of just finding mistakes and lamenting and, entering into mudslinging. It's not going to solve anything. We require to work as a whole, city as a whole approach for SDGs. It's not only the municipality or the SPV or the political leadership, or each and every citizen will have to be given a forum, a platform to contribute. And how to do that also is, I think, an important challenge that we could be working upon. And therefore, I think I have probably used a lot of your time, sir. Probably extended my time duration here. But I felt it was a very important event here. It is really forward-looking. We are looking at the next, maybe 20 years, the direction of next 20 years for cities and municipalities as to what actually they should be doing now, and also entering into the detailing now, because devil lies in the details. It's easy to make a statement, yes, let's do something SDGs, but how to do it is the challenge. We all agree on why. We agree on what, but the game now is how to make it happen, and how to make it happen just not in one city, but in all the 5,000 cities or maybe all the 30,000 cities in the world. How to make it happen. And that how to, I think, is a great business opportunity also, and I think we are luckily sitting in the merchants chamber, Indian merchant chambers basis, and therefore there has somehow been a tendency to say that just the government sector is as such is related with the welfare and development administration. I think that has changed now. Each and every individual, every entrepreneur, every micro enterprise, maybe every small and medium enterprise, every startup, every individual, every working family, every working woman, every work from home individual which we have, every gig economy worker, all of us have an opportunity to contribute, extract wealth in a positive sense out of the efforts that we are putting it, because every efforts we are putting have to lead to economic valuation and accounting for that. Because if we have a dream of having, say, $10 trillion economy in maybe 15 years or $5 trillion economy in 2 years, whatever. But that becomes again a very good goal for us to, contribute, to understand and to really find out what we should be doing individually. If I am sitting in my office now, because working as a municipal commissioner, we will understand, even we somehow feel envious that we are not. But now the game for me is to make something happen in 400 municipalities simultaneously, which I think is a great opportunity for people like us who are now moved out of single city administration framework. So is the case with academia, so is the case with think tanks, so is the case with foundations and all of the business, the economy, the technology. People, of course, are going to be very, very important as to what we really wish to achieve. So okay, now it's very long. So Ayurjit, sorry for extending my felt, but probably I got carried away with the emotions that we had. So thanks a lot for this thing, and I'm sure let's join this journey of achieving all the indicators of SDG all put together. Thank you.